Jared here. Thanks for opting in. Today we're going to be learning how you can harness the power of the pause before you binge. Remember, this is the key to unlock freedom from binge eating. All those women said so. It is the key. It really unlocks intuitive eating. It unlocks the freedom from binge eating. And it's a pretty simple exercise that we're going to be covering today. Now, what you'll need is a pen and paper, and you'll need a forbidden food item. Cracker, peanut butter. Just one. Do this exercise when you're in a safe place. Don't do it late at night, at the end of the day. Just one. And all you do is you pick a couple initial thoughts around food, and you have to write this down. And then you ask why a bunch of times. I'm going to suggest 5 to 7 times you answer why. So these first few thoughts, they'll just be kind of floating around in your head, and you just write them down. You could say, this is silly. You could say, I want to eat that. And I'm literally writing this down, so do it with me, okay? You can even see that. I'm writing it live. Okay. Don't worry about it. Just you gotta write it and get it. I'm talking pen. I'm not talking typing on your app or whatever. I'm talking pen to paper. Because this is gonna help you see the truth. It's gonna help you realize that you're not that voice. So, okay, let's just go with those 2 thoughts. You can do more, but then you go why 5 to 7 times. So let's just go, this is silly. That was one of my first thoughts. Some other thoughts you might have had up there are, I can't have chocolate, or I always screw up around chocolate. Am I going to binge later? You can have any number of thoughts. I already ate too much today. No, I can't have carbs. I'm on a keto diet. Name the thought, okay? Write it down. Why? So for me, I'm saying this is silly. Why? Doing this exercise can't help me overcome binging. This is why it's silly. That's what I'm thinking. Just free form it, right? Doing this exercise doesn't equal freedom. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Why? That was one why, right? I had this is silly. Why is this silly? Oh, well, I don't believe that doing this exercise will lead to freedom. You can see I wrote it down. Okay, keep going. Why don't I believe this exercise will lead to eating freedom? Ooh, now we're getting deep. Huh. I'm still holding my chocolate too, by the way. Now, I'm going to have to sit here. I'm going to have to look deep. Don't get me wrong. You got to look deep to heal binge eating. You got to go deep. Remember, the Hershey that used to be covered in pink wrapper, it's not what it appears. Right? Remember that Hershey? I'm going to get that right here. Remember that Hershey? It was covered in purple wrapper. That's what it appeared to be. When you go deeper, it's something else, and it might actually be a little sweet. Oh, I shouldn't eat yet. We're going to mindfully eat together. Shoot. Okay. So, doing this exercise leads to freedom. It doesn't lead to freedom. Why? You know what? Doing something this small, doing this couldn't lead to freedom. Something small, right? This seems like small. Doing this small doesn't lead to freedom. Why? Because big leads to freedom. Why? It's a big problem. Why is it a big problem? My whole life is affected. I'm writing this down, sorry. Why is my whole life affected? Whoo. Do you feel the depth there? Do you feel that? Why is my life... maybe it's because of my thoughts. Maybe it's because I'm thinking thoughts that are not true. Maybe it's because I'm telling myself I can't have chocolate and I can have chocolate. Because I can't get a hold over food, right? Why is my whole life affected? So here, let me just go through this real quick again. Right? So we start off there. You had a thought, random thought, just floating in your head around about the food you picked. This is silly. And then I said, why is this silly? Doing this exercise won't lead to freedom. Why won't this exercise lead to freedom? Doing this is too small to lead to freedom. Why is too small not going to lead to freedom? Because you need, like, this is just my train of thought, because I need big, solutions to solve my big problem. Big leads to freedom. Why does big lead to freedom? Because it's a big problem. Why is it a big problem? My whole life is affected. Why is my whole life affected? Because I can't get over cravings. Why can't I get over cravings? Because I can't pause and freaking think about my goddamn cravings. I can't pause and be with my cravings. Do you see how this leads full circle? We started off by looking at a binge with the purple, and now here we are realizing at a fundamentally different perspective that the inability to pause before a binge is why all these problems exist. The inability to resist an urge is why all these things exist. And so what you're doing right here is you're unlocking this pause. You have to be able to pause. You have to be able to pause. Listen, you can do intuitive eating. You can do the binge eating freedom stuff. You can listen to hunger. You can take care of yourself more. You can do all those things. You can study and learn about non-dieting and blah, 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 and eat better and meal prep. And I get it. But if you can't pause, you can't do any of those things. If you can't pause, you're going to keep binging. Your confidence won't get high enough to where you change. But if you can pause, go deeper, you meditate. You feel me? You kind of feel me a little bit? You know what I'm saying? There's something here. So what I'm going to invite you to do is, one, do this exercise, email me how it went. I'm just going to reply and say, hey, great job, thanks for doing the exercise. Number two, check out the mindful eating guide down below. There's a little meditation in there. It's a couple of steps on how to eat a mindful meal. This is something that if you work with me one-on-one, I will ask you to do a mindful meal once per day, no distractions, chewing the food, etc. That guide walks through 7 steps on how to do that. It has a little meditation in there. And then lastly, there's also a bonus binge eating basic boot camp training course. It's 30 days of training, and it was 30 days of emails, but I've condensed it into an ebook so that you can kind of look through it. There's training videos in there. That's honestly a lot to digest, but you can at least look through and see some of the steps that if you were working with me one-on-one, we might start to cover. So with that being said, let me know, shoot me an email how this exercise goes for you. And if you have any questions or comments, I'm here to support you. So let's just remember that, what's on the surface might be sweet inside. Yeah, it's sweet inside. It is. Namaste.